welcome to it. I'm back. It is Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday. I just got back from New York. I actually got a little sunburn, it looks like, from New York. Being out they're in the interesting climate range right now, where it goes from cold to warm very quickly, and warm to cold. So we were clearly out. And about when it got warm. But tonight we're going to be talking about, by the way, my name's Mr. Anderson, and I am the Kink Educator. Please subscribe for more, well, not subscribe, but follow for more content about kink education. If you're on a kinky journey, I can help you through it, or just talk you through it, or maybe just trade notes and experiences with each other. I'm still a little tired, so I might be a little groggy sounding today. I had a great experience in New York with the travels with my companion. Horrible time with the hotel. Still dealing with that. With that in mind, I want to talk about horrible experiences in the community. I cannot stress this enough, that the BDSM community is abusive at times. While BDSM is not abuse, and it's not something that should ever be abuse, it certainly can come across as abuseful when it's seen from the outside. But when we're in the inside of our communities, a lot of times we actually are forced into situations that are abusive, and we're just kind of stuck there, like, what am I supposed to do? Like when the host turns around and calls you all sluts and whores. No, and not that there's wrong. If someone wants to be a slut or identify as a whore, God bless them. You do you, Pookie. But don't do that to everyone. Don't make everyone something, and don't sexualize a gathering. Now, there's a difference, of course, between throwing a community event and a personal event. If you're doing a personal event and you want to call your friends sluts, cool. But if you're inviting people to be part of something, you don't get to call everyone a slut. You don't get to call everyone a whore. Yet, why make people feel icky? And I see this all the time. And I can say, when I see comments being made on Reddit, and I think Reddit is already a little too gatekeeping for me most days, but at least they don't make the nasty comments I see on FetLife. And FetLife, it's like someone joins FetLife and they're like, I can just say whatever the fuck I want now. Ooh, let me just sexualize and sexually harass people for the hell of it. And I'm just gonna say things that you shouldn't say to a stranger. It's like they forget everyone's a stranger. Just because you have a shared experience, because you have something in common with someone else, does not give you a right to make other people feel uncomfortable. I don't care what you share. If it's not a negotiation and then consent, you don't have a right to treat people in ways that will make people feel uncomfortable, will make people feel unwelcome, and will make people not want to be in the situation. This whole community is based on people that come together for a shared interest, and our interests are what bring us together. It's not to be spoken down to be objectified, for you to live out your fantasy out loud because you're bored at your office job. It is a place for us to learn from each other, to talk about things we can't normally talk about in other spaces. That's what community is. Too many people do whatever they want. Far too often people also, sadly, abuse people within the community for their own fun. I mean, it is hard because I will say this, I've seen good people do good things with this overall community, and I see people who are just certain ways. It's gatekeeping and popularity, and it makes everyone want to stop going. I went to New York, and New York's got its problems, don't get me wrong, but there's an acceptance about you get to be who you are in New York City. Everyone's too busy to give a shit and get involved. I even saw a Trump, the thing that had Trump at MSG. I saw all the people outside, but you know what I didn't see them doing, and I give credit, they dressed up and they looked weird and they were in my way for a minute because I needed to use the train. But no one was yelling at each other. They were just people being around each other, disagreeing, arguing. I didn't hear of anyone hurting each other. And that's what I love about New York City. And New York City's not perfect. It's had its moments of not tolerant behavior, but New York is amazing in that regard, and I wish the communities were. But communities get all, when you build a community with things you shouldn't do, when you call out new people, that's dangerous for new people. Oh, here come the excuses. Oh, they didn't want to participate, they didn't have to. Well, that's true, except you pointed to them and said, you're new. You put the target on their back. Oh, well, I'm just trying to get them involved. That's why they came here. You don't know why they came here because you didn't talk to them. Oh, I just hit on that person because they're on FetLife and they want the attention. Nope, that's you assuming again. Just because a young lady or young man or young human or old human for that matter puts a picture up that could be a little racy, could show things off, doesn't mean that they want your opinion. They are self-expressing. It's not an invitation to be sexually harassed by you or your thoughts. And I cannot stress that enough. I am always let down by the things I see people write in pictures. And I have experienced that myself. I posted pictures of a comic book character and had people literally message me things they wanted me to do with them, not realizing that that was just a comic book character. So I'm very disappointed in general by the conduct of people in communities when they cannot realize that just because you're in a kinky space doesn't mean you get to act out any role you want, be anyone you want, or say over-sexualized things. Remember, kink, BDSM and kink is not inherently sexual. Stop trying to live out your fantasy in a group of people. We have some comments that I'm going to get to now. Let's see. Trying to get all the comments. My face is itchy. I think with the sunburn, I should have put some cream on it. That's me. We got an 100% agree. I appreciate the agreement. That's just New York. It is. New York's got that vibe. Too many different people in one place. You can't be anything but a person that's chill, or you're gonna get into a lot of fucking problems. Maddie says, yeah, someone pointed out my collar in the public while I was at work. Yeah, that's a situation. I mean, people know now. That's just the answer. People know now about that. So the danger of wearing a collar is exponentially larger now, and people having opinions on it. It's like when someone sees something, they think they're inherently right because of social media to run their gums any way they want. And I want to assure you that most of what happens is sexual harassment. The reason it's not prosecuted more is because of the fact that most government officials, or agencies I should say, kind of expect you to report it. Like, there's that system. You're supposed to report the comment, let the site take care of it. And if the person takes something off of a site, so for those who don't know, if someone chases you from one site to another, that's actually against the law. It's called cyber stalking. And yes, you can get the authorities to look at that. All right, congrats, good vibes. Lit up hat and mustache in Kink Educators gift gallery. Don't know what that is, but I appreciate it. Let's see. I think that was from Good Vibes sent it to us. So I appreciate that. And Good Vibes got the #1 gifter badge. All right, Marls says, I've had men message me trying to dominate me when they found out I was a sub. It was uncomfy. And there's, yeah, I mean, they're just men. They're just humans, I should say, that don't get it. It's not an open invitation to create a FetLife account. It's not consent for you to become an object. And sadly, in this lifestyle, we do objectification, but we do it with consent. But far too many people are too eager to objectify people, and you get people who are doms who get so used to just, and they're the play with anyone types, so they get used to getting what they want from a whole bunch of people, and they stop remembering their manners and start assuming way too much. And there are men, and I find this, that The two types of men who go to try to hit on everyone, and look, we all make mistakes. And FetLife at one point was really a dating site. They swear it's not now, so okay, but at one point it was a dating site. But there's no right way to be on a dating site. Dating sites are like the seventh circle of hell. So you have to do something to get attention. So, I mean, there'll be some people who are arguing, well, I'm just saying hi and seeing if we're connecting. The problem is when you do that a lot in a community, people talk and they realize what you're doing, and it's very fucking icky. Because then you're just playing a numbers game, and no one really likes people like that. Good vibes. Oh wait, Maris says I read Maris's thing, and then Good Vibes says that Marls, that's crazy. Oh, Marls, is that it? Yeah, Marls. Sorry, Marls, that's crazy. How did they even know? And then Mandy said I would be happy to talk to them, just not at work, and that's fair. But you know what? There is an interesting thing with that. Technically, you're doing nothing wrong with what you're wearing. The person who's bringing it up is actually breaking probably your company's rules about sexual harassment, because they're asking you something that they think is, to them, I guarantee you, a sex thing. So right there, they're already wrong, because they're not supposed to be asking you about that. Mandy says, oh, okay. Good Vibe says, yep, no problem. Marl says, good vibes. I had tweeted about learning more about sub-dom relationships, and it shouldn't come down to that. We have lost the ability to try to get to know each other, and instead we run to the bedroom. Oh, you want to do that? I'll dom you right now. That's it. Let's do it. So many steps. That's a dangerous sign when someone, I mean, there's a difference between, hey, how can I help? I saw you're asking for this. Is there anything you're looking for in particular? That's a fine conversation. I was also saying, and I put it on a video, that I think that you should be able to give strikes to people on FetLife, and they shouldn't be able to message you without having to explain why they're messaging you. Like, click a box and say why they want to message you. And if they don't do that, there should be like an AI review of it, or you get to review it. If they were misleading, that should count as 2 strikes. Because not only are they doing something they shouldn't do, they were lying about it. Marl says, that's crazy. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. It's from Good Vibes. And Marl says, good vibes. I'm glad I learned how to speak up for myself, and it has stopped recently. And it really is that. A lot of people doing that are honestly cowards who don't respect themselves enough, in my opinion. So if you call them out on their bullshit, they will run away and hide. They're not so dumb when they think that you'll tell the community about the antics they're pulling. I'll tell you that. Maddie says they even work for the same company. Ugh. And they know better. They know better. They shouldn't be doing that. Where are we at? I think we caught up to the comments. So, does anyone have any questions? Make sure you guys are joining us by following us. We have conversations like this a lot. Maddie says, had a wonderful rest of your night. You too, Maddie. Thanks for joining us. Okay. And if you guys have a question, feel free to ask your question. And just as a side note, I never know how to end conversations sometimes. You know, like when you're texting someone, you're not supposed to text someone, okay, bye, because it seems weird, but sometimes you have a text out there and you're like, do I need to respond to this? Because I don't really have a good way to respond without sounding like an idiot. Marl says, it's so hard to find someone who's a good dom and not just someone who wants to use someone. Amen, sister. And for the record, finding a good submissive ain't so easy either. Let me tell you about submissives that I've encountered and heard about. Okay, there are the tourist submissives. What's a tourist submissive? Why, thank you for asking. And this will make a good cut-up video. I'm glad you brought that up. So a tourist submissive is the submissive that comes, sees a movie like 50 Shades of Grey, reads a book from Book Talk, and decides they want to be dominated. Dominate me, rip my clothes off. What they want is a single-use, basic sexual session that they read. They might as well write notes, hand it to the person, and tell them to do that stuff. They're not really interested in it, and it fades very quickly. And they'll go back to their normal stuff. Very frustrating. Very anger-provoking to have to deal with someone like that, because they'll tell you, they'll say all the things, and then they're the same ones who will a lot of times say, I have no limits. Someone says, and that's number 2, any submissive who tells you they have no limits is a time bomb or a potential legal matter that you're going to have to sidestep. I instantly know how to deal with this. If a dom is watching, let me explain. And trust me, they're bad doms. We talk about that all the time, but let's talk about this just for a minute. When they say I don't have any limits, go, okay, the first thing I want to do is pee on you to make you mine. Now, that's not kink shaming anyone, but that's a deep kink that a lot of people happen to not be into. If they're like, oh, okay, and a lot of people will be like, well, that's sort of sudden, and then you do have limits. You have boundaries, you're not ready, and then you could have that bigger conversation. 2 things will happen. 1, they'll get so much respect for you because they'll realize that you're actually looking out for them. They'll realize that you want what's best for you both and not trying to use you. Second thing, you're going to tell right away who they are. Now, again, someone might be like, oh, yeah, pee on me, I don't care, but a lot of times they'll be like, but, because they've suddenly realized there might be something. And I'm not going to say the but because I don't want to put anything in a negative light. I used one of the more popular yet limited ones that a lot of people don't happen to be into. And it doesn't make it wrong, by the way, it doesn't make it right. Another type that you have to worry about are the ones who are clout chasing. They're the ones who, no, I want to be strung up by my neck. This might be my first time, but I want a good picture, and you tie me up, and I don't need a safe word. This is someone not checked into reality, not understanding what we do. That's just 3, and these are the most 3 obvious ones. Of course, manipulating, but that's not a submissive thing. That's human thing, and manipulative is always gonna be manipulative. I don't know how else to put it. We all know bitches like that, and by bitches I don't mean gender, because trust me, there's some men bitches out there. But yeah, I mean, it's just hard to find good people sometimes, because here's the truth: good people get hurt and get very scared. They have triggers. They have to be worked with. You have to be patient to unlock a submissive who's gone through something, and even a dominant. I know so many dominants who became the way they became because they got hurt caring, so they focused more on the play. And the danger with focusing on the play is you forget the person. You need to focus on the person to play. My opinion, I'm on a stump right now. I'm campaigning for a safer BDSM in 2024. All right, so I'll cut that up and make that into something later. I'm sorry, off the stump. I'm so sorry, everybody. I did some stump stuff. Suddenly, it's busy outside of Panera Bread on a Tuesday night. Everyone has limits, morals. I've never met a human being without limits, and I knew people who were into heavy play, but tickling would be one of the things that they have. No, hard limit. Not on my feet. That's it. And that's really common. I've seen that pop up so many times, not just in dynamics I was part of or relationships I was part of, but in general. Good Vibe says, that's crazy. She's not talking about me, just sort of the things we've been talking about now. If you guys are joining us and you want kink education, you found the right place. My name is Mr. Anderson. I am your kink educator for this live, which we'll let go on for probably another 15, 20 minutes. So if you have a question, ask it, but make sure to hit that follow right now. I think it's over here. I don't get to see it on my side, but I believe there's a follow icon right there. So simple, don't even have to leave it, and then you could ask me questions later outside of our classes. This is what I would consider a class right now. The lives, I try to make a little lively at times. We make a little bit of jokes, but it's the same as we would if we were having a lecture in a lecture hall. So please feel free to answer that. Now, someone had asked me recently if there was a circumstance with someone who crashed our video. And I'm not going to get into it because people like that are thrill seekers. They want the attention. You don't feed trolls. You just don't. I will say this, and I got complimented on a lot on how I handled it. I am used to it. If you guys see abuse happening on this channel, happening in any video, someone saying something, let me handle it. I have gotten so used to it at this point from doing hundreds of Comic-Cons, and that's not an exaggeration. I have actually done, I think what I counted, it was somewhere around 250 Comic-Cons. No kidding. And if you time, I've done over a year. Literally a year of my life has been spent at Comic-Cons. That's not a joke. So, trust me, I know how to handle it. I don't want you guys getting stalked by any of these people who are here just to cause drama, to bother you, to troll. If someone starts trolling you and you don't know them, then you don't owe them your feed. Block them. Let me tell you, blocking people is so simple. It makes it go away, and life goes back to being awesome. Always block when you can. All right, let's see if we have any questions. I'm looking. Good Vibes says, I was talking about people that say they have no limits. Oh, yeah. If anyone tells me they don't have a limit, I'm out. Like, I don't even bother having a conversation with them. If it's in a setting, if they're talking to me directly, I'll comment. But I feel like if you say it in front of other people, you're just going to shame them. But I definitely would distance myself. The reason it's harder to find good doms, too, is that a lot of people are seeking the fantasy of someone who is very dominant, very kind of pushing and authoritative. It is so easy for someone who's abusive to slide in and seem like that, say some of the right words and get away with it temporarily until they're exposed for it. And that's why you got to establish safe words, boundaries. Boundaries are so important. I don't care if my dynamic went 24/7, I'd still negotiate. Because to me, negotiation, that's it. So, Mel says, older men. Hey, I could be considered an older man right now. I know I don't look it. I know I look like I'm in my 20s, but believe it or not, I am 46 years old. So, I'm that middle-aged Caucasian man. So, be easy. But with that said, I do, and there's a bug here. It's actually what I'm swinging away. I do actually agree that we see and talk more about the things that men do, but trust me, women do things too. All humans do things. I think the reason that we don't talk more about what women or other humans that aren't men do as often as much is because the threat level is inherently less. A man is physically abusive versus a woman is physically abusive. The man can do more damage there. They're stronger. Nature gave them an unfair advantage. But let's not act like all humans aren't abuseful or can be abuseful. Not every human's obviously abuseful, but there are many that are. There are a lot of people who don't consider anything but themselves, live in their own bubbles. So you have to be mindful. Most people only care about themselves. Most of the days, and the people who are closest to them, keep that in mind. That's why if we're talking about abusive people, they were like, oh, they've always been nice to me. Doesn't that sound insane? Well, he was an axe murderer, but he was always good. He shoots people in the head, but he was always good to me. What are we talking about here? All right, so I think I missed something. No, I didn't. I'm sorry. These comments are so small at times. Oh, you have a king for older men. Oh, well, hi there. What's older? Because I've weirdly been told I'm too young for people with an older kink, and it's kind of weird. So, what else you guys got for me tonight? Thank you for the follow, and make sure, and I love the name Salty Brat. And I cleaned up today. I got back from my trip from New York and no longer needed the heavier beard, so I trimmed it down a bit. So I'm looking all GQ today. What do we got? Like 34 to 45 and 50 to 60. I have to ask, what did the people between 45 and 50 do? Because I'm 46. Why are we not okay? Thank you. I am the saltiest of brats. I don't know. I can be pretty salty at times. Well, I'm a brascal. For those who don't know, I created the word brascals. It's brats with muscles. Look at that. Oh, I brat with strength. So. What are you guys doing? What are you all up to? I mean, around that. Oh, no, I was teasing you. I'm so sorry. I did not mean that seriously, Mel. I understood. I was just kidding. I was literally just kidding. Because I saw you leave the gap, but I know the gap meant like, well, start here to here and then to here, then to there. And I bet you your sweet spot was the more contained one. And that just happens. Mel says, I think I'm saying that wrong. I'm too far back. No, Mel. Mel says I'm not too young. Age to me is always a number. I can tell you right now, I know 60-year-olds who don't have the maturity of my 5-year-old t-shirt. And I've known teenagers, and pump the brakes, this is a professional moment, that would show up at work and act more mature than any of the adults in the room. It's about maturity, not age, but age matters when it comes to consent. We don't do anything with anyone that is under 18. If you're in a state where it's lower than 18, I would still suggest waiting until someone is 18. It is just better to wait till someone is 18 for both emotional and brain and mental acuity. Oh, you do think you're young? Well, tell us, how young are you? I was just asked this, when do I think someone's not a young lady? Now, I say young lady to people who are what I would assume most people would never think is a young lady, but still. Oh, you think I'm young, I think. Oh, 18. Yeah, that would be young. You're old enough to be on this channel. Congratulations. Welcome to it. Happy birthday. You're 18, you get to explore things. The character in my comic book, by the way, I got to talk about my comic book in a minute. Barbara Unleashed, she starts the series off as 17 and transitions during the first issue to be an 18-year-old because I wanted to talk about the youth. I was very young when I first started in the community because of online. You can be younger. The maturity, I had better dynamic stuff, 18 and up, definitely. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but you're going to struggle with society. Society's going to judge you for that age gap that you're looking for. Be careful too. There are people who are going to be older who will try to take advantage of you due to your age, and there is definitely a kink for younger people and to be taken advantage of by older people. Please tread cautiously. Make people earn your respect. Make people earn your trust. Especially if there's an age gap, you almost have to make them really earn it. You don't have to do it, no games, no nothing like that. Just take it slow, ask a lot of questions, negotiate like your life depends on it. And I'm not saying it does, but your future might depend on it because, and I'll say this, doms get to make all the mistakes while the submissive wear all the scars, whether externally or internally. Forever their lives are changed. I know I've had people do shit to me when I was young too, believe it or not. Young is one of those things where I think people think it's an excuse to do anything. You're 18, you're welcome at the table. Welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. I'm just looking for things, by the way. I mean, around that age is good. I just find older men attractive. I think that came out of order. LOL, I'm old as fuck. you're not old, you're a survivor. Let me tell you, it takes a lot to survive this fucking world and still be a good person. So if you're up there in age and a good person, you're winning. 40 years young, nothing wrong with 40. I don't have an age. I'm demisexual, so it's about the person, not the age. I have honestly dated the gamut. I've dated people older than me, younger than me, same age as me, within a few years of me. It's across the board. I've dated people 5-6 years older than me at the time. So, ironically, older women have never really been attracted to me. At least I didn't know. Being demisexual means you miss half of the people flirting with you. Just clueless. I have no idea when I'm being flirted with, unless I have a dynamic with you and I understand it. And as, honestly, a 46-year-old man, I'll tell you guys a story, and I've told this before, and this is crazy. I was at the gym, and this is during the warmer months, and I hate getting really sweaty because my skin breaks out. So I was walking in my gym. I pay a fucking membership. I'm not bothering anyone. I stay out of people's way. So I was walking, and I noticed these girls starting to look at me. I didn't think anything of it, and they kept staring at me. So when they would stare at me, I started to like stare at them back, like kind of like, nodding, like, if you want to come talk to me, come talk to me. My dumb, goofy ass thinks that they noticed me from a Comic-Con. This happens to me, actually. And I was like, well, I'm in the wrong area because now I'm in a different area because I moved, but maybe I've been up here, which I have, and impressed upon them. They want to talk to me. So I'm trying to be friendly and inviting. I'm not great at that. I'm not great. I'm good at being genuinely myself. That's why I don't flirt with people that I don't know, or I hit on people. I'm fucking horrible at it because I'm just not built for that. On a one-on-one level, someone give me a pumpkin, thank you. On a one-on-one level, 100%, we can sit down, vibe, have conversations, build friendships, maybe something more. But in open spaces, I don't really want to be bothered. And I'm obviously walking, I'm not trying to be bothered. So this person starts looking at me, and I'm just like, this is getting fucking creepy. So every time I walk, they start staring at me. So now I'm looking at people like, what the fuck is this? So one of them finally says, do you have a problem? And I'm like, no, are you good? Is everything good with you? Because now I'm like, why are you looking at me and getting fucking tense with me? And they're like, oh, I'm just checking. And I'm like, okay, have a good night. And then later they came to the gym again, staring at me still, but this time I didn't bother because I knew. I clocked them. These were the type of people who go to be offended. So I hear them talking shit, and I'm not wearing earbuds, so they're just talking shit. But fuck them. I'm not there for them. I'm there for my own health. So I keep doing my thing. And I could tell they were trying to start something. Sure enough, they get bored because I'm not giving them the time of day. I see them starting some shit with someone else. The point of this is that they're just fucked up people in the world. It's better to keep to yourself, I find, more often than not. Be genuine, and good people will find you. All right. Me too, Cindy. Someone else is 40. What kind of book? It's a comic book called Barbara Unleashed. It's about a young woman's journey through the New York City fetish underground. We have it now on Kickstarter, believe it or not, because I added a special reward for all of you. It's called Kink Educator. That's right. You can get the entire Barbara Unleashed franchise, which includes the BDSM survey, the 2 editions that we have. One was never printed and was only meant to be a digital reward for one campaign, because instead we decided to make the Desire Index, which you'll also get. That's 5 comic books. You'll also get the Monster series, which is what the actual Kickstarter is. The monsters are the classic universal monsters, except for one thing: they're human beings with genetic disorders, and it was Hollywood who put them up on the silver screen as monsters in the first place, showing that they didn't understand who they were and only wanted to make a profit of it. Kind of like 50 Shades of Grey in the kink community. You'll get those 3 books. Look how excited I'm getting. And the Barbara franchise and the crossovers between Manny and Barbara at the Comic-Con, both in the Advocator and the actual the Advocate comic. Get all that for $5. It's hundreds of pages of comic books. It's there now. It's PDF only, but it's a great way to learn. You can print the copies you want. Educational tool. And the Desire Index uses a little bit of Barbara, but we're going to be splitting between Barbara in 2025 and educational material. Barbara will still continue to have educational materials. Why stop what works? But I will also be making an educational wing that is strictly that. You can find what I've just talked about, because I made that today for all of you, at Kickstarter. Simply put in Monster Trilogy. All right. I hope I explained it well. Barbara, if I didn't do the pitch for Barbara, it's a young woman's journey through the New York City fetish underground, where in the first issue she kind of discovers who she is finally after being young and wanting to explore it, and finds trouble. And then in the second one, Aftermath, she feels as though her connection to her kinks, her compellers and her fetishes have been stolen from her, and she feels very empty, even going as far as to try to talk to the police that laugh her out of the precinct. And she discovers that by the time we get to the third issue, we have Mentor Search, where she realizes the person who saved her from things getting worse at the end of the first issue, spoilers, is the only one that can help her reclaim her connection to her kinks, compellers, and fetishes. So, pitch over, back accordingly. And remember, you get a comic book for just $1 in a PDF form through that campaign, and $5 gets you a huge collection, hundreds of pages. My Strong Fantasy started at 17. Senor Don Ricardo says, and he sent me the pumpkin, I appreciate that. And he says, I appreciate your candor and advice. I appreciate all of you. Hold on. I must have missed while I was on my rant. Okay. We're talking ages. Love it. All right, so here we go. Mel, I told you the book. Let's see. Good Vibe says, I'm 35. Sometimes I still think I'm 25. Between me and you all, until the back starts hurting and I start making clicking sounds, I still think I'm 20. I'm immature in all the good ways, I think, but I've matured a lot in the last 2 years thanks to my best friend. But surely my maturity was stunted, and I'm getting there. I'm going to be a grown-up sooner or later at 46. Cindy says, no, I'm really old. No one's old. You're a survivor. I have survived for this long. When you say that, I've survived 46 years. People are like, God damn, that's impressive. Is it really? No, but it sounds cool. Marls says, I've gotten rejected before just based on my age. Like they couldn't have at least given me a chance. Marls, sometimes young ages do cause some people some pause. Young people have been known to be immature. And that's their right to do that. It sucks. I know I've been young and been rejected, and I've been rejected for being too old now. I've been both sides of the spear, so I get it. Trust me, I get it. But it is their right, because they might have concerns. I mean, when you're in an upside-down relationship or an age gap relationship, no matter what you want to call it, people judge you. People look at you differently, and they take shots at you. People who themselves are in a different in an age gap relationship will take shots at you about it if it winds up hitting them. So Marls says, oh sorry Marls, we've got, I got getting there. I'm getting young at heart, nearly 60. That's what I'm talking about. You've survived nearly 60 years in this planet. There you go, man. Put it on a card. Why be careful? Here's the best thing. I get it. Why not just go out and enjoy it? It's because you got a lot more to go. And as shit happens, nerve damage, it gets more frequent. Someone takes advantage of you, have trouble trusting people. It's just a lot. Scars make your body a story you have to tell, and you might not always want to tell it. There's a lot of reasons why to be careful. I'm not saying not to do shit. Just do shit with the right people and have great fun. Make people earn your submission. Give it as a gift to someone so they can reward you with their dominance. All right. Good Vibe says, Cindy, age is just a number. It really fucking is. If we're on a different planet with a different amount of days in it, just imagine our different ages. What if this world had 700 days a year? We'd all be half the age we are. And I know it's not exactly a half, all right? That would be 700 and... 365, 30, so 830, right? 6, 7. No, I was right. 7, 700 and what did I say? 365, 730. That took way too long to get to. I've survived too much. I'm losing the brain. My strong fantasy started at 17. Everyone close your ears. This one's just from L. I had all the strong fantasies at 11. It hit with puberty. I get it. Valerie says, also Demi. I also have no idea when I'm being flirted with. And people don't understand, when you're demisexual, it's not a fucking joke. I saw someone make this stupid comment, and I'm never going to forget it. Oh, I want to let my inner slut out, but my demisexual side won't stop me. Let me tell you, you don't have a slut. I don't have a slut inside of me. I don't. I can't have one-night stands. I'm not connected. I can't do those things. And I used to would tell you I hate that I can't, but now, having survived 46 years, I like that I have those standards and that I know who I'm playing with. I actually prefer it. And there was someone making accusations broadly with nothing to back it up. And it was nice to be able to say, I've never done anything. Me Too movement, I've never done anything. So have I said wrong shit? Sure. Have I probably made someone uncomfortable without meaning to? Yeah, but I never violated a human being's consent. And that feels so nice for me to be 100% know that. So, yeah, being demisexual, I think, also helped me with that. Not that not being demisexual is a reason to do that. I'm just saying, like, it keeps me very much at bay, where I'm not trying to just get as much as I can. And if you're demisexual, you get it, because you know what I'm talking about. Another demisexual in the room, so you guys know. And I'll give you one thing I said to someone that blew their mind, because I know someone who is, I don't want to say much more than that. I just know someone who's also demisexual. And we were just sitting around talking, and I was like, the weirdest thing is the fact that when you are fantasizing to relieve pressure, requires you almost to try to get to know the person starring in it. So you wind up looking at these human beings and trying to get a vibe for them, so you can see them as a person. Like, you're almost making a backstory. Like, as a demisexual person, when I find someone attractive, I find myself, and I used to say this all the time, and I didn't understand it until I became demisexual. I used to say, I just fell in love, and then they talked and they ruined it, and now I'm not interested. It is because I was assigning them a personality. When it didn't match, I no longer was interested. That was my bad. I understand why I was doing it now, so I've fixed it, and I don't assign anyone a personality just based on looks, because a lot of times I wasn't even close to accurate about it. But I needed to do that to keep an interest in them. But then when you get it right, oh man, you're like, oh shit, they are that. Let's see. Good vibes. For some reason, your comment was, I'm approving it now. What is demisexual? I have no idea why that's done. Okay, so demisexual, it's a form of sexual interest, and it has more to do with knowing a person versus being attracted to a gender or being attracted to a sexual act. So as a demisexual, I have to get to know my partner. I have to have a real interest in them, or things don't work. I've had very attractive women get drunk and try to test to see if there was an interest from me to them, and have found out there wasn't, and they questioned my sexuality, which was fair at the point. I just didn't realize it wasn't the way they were doing it, because I was demisexual. I have to be attracted to the person, who they are, and then the rest fills in the blanks. Hope that actually makes sense. It's the easiest way I've learned to describe it to people. In other words, if someone who's blazingly hot walks down here, and we all can be like, oh yeah, she's attractive, and I've, locker room talk make me say dumb things. I've removed that from myself, but you would be able to identify that. And I could see someone be attracted to them, but there's like a barrier there, like, oh, they're attractive. And like I said, I can make that story up about them and actually start to be really attracted to them, as opposed to seeing them as attractive. or I could try to talk to them. And that's why a lot of times I'm very awkward when I'm talking to a person, because I don't know who they are and I don't know if I'm interested yet. That's why flirting and hitting on people never worked with me, because sometimes people will talk and I'll stop talking to them. It has been awkward because I've lost all interest. Like suddenly, like, completely uninterested, and I just want to leave. And I've said, like, I was talking to this one girl at FedCon, and we were just talking. She was getting closer and closer to me. I'm like, this is awkward. I should just talk to her to make this go away. She's cute. Let's see what happens. So I'm talking to her, and she wound up being a foot model. And I had made a joke that I think the cute joke was just like, oh, like it's got to be a stinky job, like something like that. I got a laugh out of it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go use my feet to get out of. You have a great night, because I just don't want to be in those moments. Someone got a gifter badge. Mel, I think we read this, but just in case, it started at 17 for older men. That's actually very common. I don't know if anyone's done literature on that or even looked into maybe a why. The simplest answer that someone will tell you, obviously, is it's a daddy issue thing. I don't know. I don't get involved, but I do want to say this. If you read a lot of books, there's a huge correlation between younger women and older men. And these are 100-year-old books, so, All right, I'm going to actually turn this on so it makes it bigger, because I'm tired of leaning in. I'm straining my eyes. Why would I get taken advantage of? Good question. There are people who actively seek younger people. The reason they seek younger people is the expectation you don't know as much. These are the same people who will tell you, like in 50 Shades of Grey, taking advantage of a younger woman, oh, you have to sign a contract. You do not. You don't get a safe word because I know what I'm doing. You hear that, run away. Oh, if you want to be my submissive, there are things you have to do. No, it's called negotiation. You negotiate everything you want to do. And I can go on. 13, I get that. Cassandra Jean says, good evening. How you doing? Mel says, I want an older man to be my dad. Very common. Absolutely common. I could be his child. That is called age play. Very common. Absolutely very common. They would be your caretaker or your dad, or therefore daddy. Unless you want to be just adopted. I don't know if you can be adopted at 18. Does anyone know if you can be adopted at 46? I'm looking for a new mom. Mine died and was never good to me. I know it's a dark joke. I get one of them a show. Lisa Ann says, what is the difference between a service top and a dominant submissive? All right, so a dominant submissive would be a switch. Or, because that also could imply, a dominant submissive could be someone who plans out everything they want done to them. But then there's the whole argument, are they actually being submissive, or are they just planning for you to be a service top? A service top actually is someone who just provides the service of topping someone and doing basically what they're told, kind of like a sex toy. But in this case, not a sex toy, a kink toy, for a better representation in the conversation. Why would anyone adopt a teenager? Mel asks. Batman adopted all those younger teenage boys. Let's not talk about it. I don't want to get into it. This conversation never goes well, and there is so much kink. Not kink. Whatchamacallit? Fan fiction about that, so I'm not even gonna go there. Nikki gave us a follow. Thank you, Nikki. Oh, I'm told I can't touch my face. This is why I have a nervous tick apparently touching my face. If you see me doing it, yell at me, people. You have my consent to yell at me. My dad doesn't love me. I'm sorry to hear that. And I had that with my mom. Just the other day I was asked something about my mom. Because I had a very troubled relationship with my mother. There I go, touching here. Very troubled relationship with my mother. My mother suffered from mental illness, and it was not good. It was very abusive. So I fully understand not having that connection. And I was asked directly, when I see someone interact with their mom and it's a great mom, do I have visceral reaction. Do I wish that I had that? My answer was no, because I never even fucking understood it. Even my grandmothers weren't very loving or supportive. I see it as pure fiction. Like, I have people in my life who have great relationships with their mother, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I wonder how that feels. Like I'm so far disconnected to it that I have no idea. No idea. And I'm sorry. I am. And I get that. So I'm demisexual, but when I was younger, I realized that if I wanted, or wrongly realized, that if I wanted someone to love me, love was sex. So I'd have that, the interaction, I would go through with it, and I'd always feel empty at the end of it, because that's what I wasn't looking for, because I didn't understand love. I didn't understand people taking care of me. And when someone tried to take care of me, I never reacted well, because the few times that my mom would try to take care of me and be loving, the other shoe would fall. And I don't want to share all the diagnoses, but that seesaw was definitely brought on by the mental illness. So I have forgiven since her passing. I always make the joke around Mother's Day, the way I remember my mom, is to pull the cord since her passing. I always make the joke around Mother's Day, the way I remember my mom, is to pull the cord out of the, because I did pull the plug on my mother, like, true story, but I didn't do it out of spite, and that's why I'm telling you this. I did it because that's what she wanted. And she actually woke up from the coma after they pulled the cord and agreed and said she didn't want to go on by shaking her head. She didn't want them to put her on life support. I actually fulfilled the wishes of someone who had been awful and I hadn't spoken to in about 3 years, because I knew that was important. I'm going to free your comment, Mel. Let's free it. And yeah, there's correlation there. Not having a good relationship with a parent can, while BDSM is not therapy, it can be therapeutic. And I know you guys are looking at me sideways. It is slowly going away. I don't know what I did, but I screwed it up. I think that might be it. Let's see if I can't fix this. And I am going to go in just a few minutes, but I want to finish this with you all fine, folks. Let me see if well, this is the view you get of me. All right. What's an advice you have for getting started in kink community as a middle-aged newbie? First, being middle-aged is not uncommon at all. As a matter of fact, it is rarer to be young in the community. There are not a lot of young people. That's why TNG came to be, because there are so few of them that they were getting taken advantage of enough that they started a TNG. The problem with TNG is TNG would get people taking advantage of people, because younger people are susceptible to things on a bigger scale than older people, but that doesn't mean you don't have to be concerned. Newbies, and anyone new, there are people who will try to take advantage of you. So my advice is get educated. Come to shows like this. Follow me and other creators. Learn about things. Learn how to negotiate. Learn how to build up boundaries. Learn the safety light system, green, yellow, red. Learn as much as you can, because becoming educated empowers you. While I think the dominant should be able to explain anything and everything they want to do to you, it's better if you know that stuff, so you know if they're full of shit or not. Cheers. All right, where are we going next? You guys are awesome, by the way. I want to take a moment and say how much I've loved the conversation tonight. And I will probably try to repost this as actually, we'll probably make it a YouTube video maybe. And we'll put up a few things that I'll change as we go and show it off. So, I hope that's good advice. Any follow-up questions, feel free to ask. T loves lilac says, I am demisexual too. I need a total connection mentally before I can submit. And that, for me, dominating, yes. And I've only submitted now to 2, that I would call submission, to 2 people, and really 1. The other person I went through the motions, the other one I wanted to. Not a knock at either one of them. They both earned it. Just one was a deeper connection and more of a desire, and with that person I did, yeah, they hit all the markers. And the other person, it was just something that sounded fun, and I went along with it. I had been tied up before that, but I'd never let anyone take a dominant role over me. They were just tying me up, and I would escape. One of them tried a Russian accent, which was funny. I was laughing, and then they were tied up. Yeah, I started the other way. You guys have some interesting names out there. Hades Bound says, thanks, you're welcome. Asia says, hi there. How would you recommend I ask for more playtime exploration with my dom? Also, I'm shy. There's no dom that I know of personally that would take that in any way other than awesome, let's do it. If you don't want to really say it, just be like, is there any way we can make a play date sooner? I really just encourage. I really like this. I think I can go longer, sir. I would like to see if you could push me to my absolute limits, sir. Things like that, I think, will kind of give the hint you're looking for without that. Maddie says, what is demisexual? Sorry, didn't know much about this. Demisexual is basically someone who is attracted to a person and who they are, as opposed to someone who is attracted to just a gender. They're attracted to who a person is. So it's a lot more encompassing. It's about being able to vibe with them, wanting to get to know them and have that lock before anything can happen. It's why I can't, quote unquote, hit on people, because I haven't connected with them. My idea of hitting on someone would be to go right up to them and be like, hi, my name's Rob. Tell me about yourself. But we know in this day and age, that's not game. I don't have game. I'm not about game. I'm about education. I'm about respect, boundaries, and building limits. So that's what it is. Let's see, hold on. I want to make sure we got it. Oh my God, new fantasy of Boris and Natasha unlocked. Yeah, people have that actually. That's actually a role play. Miria, I'm gonna call you that because my dyslexia is gonna kill me. I'm abrosexual, and because my sexuality is so fluid, it's vital I'm educated about my wants and needs. And I have never heard abrosexual. Could you define that for me? And I will read it out loud. I'll look it up real quick. Actually, we're gonna take a momentary break. This break is brought to you by Purple Passions. Purple Passions is located on 20th Street and 8th Avenue in Manhattan. It is by far the best kink shop in the New York City area. I have been going there, not a lie, for decades. True story, just was there, just bought 2 new things. The term abro means delicate or graceful. A person who's abrosexual may be attracted to men for a certain period, say weeks or months, and may have a period when they are not sexually attracted to anyone. That's got to be rough. I could see that could be like difficult to deal with, and I understand now what you're talking about, and I get that. And I hope you've learned tools to help you, because knowing being demisexual has helped me a lot in my life. So I hope that knowing that has empowered you. Christy says, hi, everyone. I got another follow. You guys are awesome. And another follow. You're all awesome. Oh, no. They're going to kick me off soon. I've been live for too long. And my battery, legitimately, my battery is legitimately dying at the moment, so we are going to have to cut this short in just a few minutes. We are down to the 16%. I know someone asked, Asia asked who they were, and I think someone answered, it just did yes. T Loves Lilac says it's a cartoon characters with Russian accents who go against a moose who I can't remember the moose's name. Oh my God. Oh, damn. Someone help me. Throw me a lifeline. Oh, shit. I know this. Oh, I grew up. Well, no, this is before my time, actually. I want to say it's Wally. Am I right? Help me out. Help a brother out. Wally might have been just from the National Lampoon stuff. What the fuck was that moose's name? God damn, I'm getting old. Things are falling out of the brain every day. Valerie says, oh, if we're doing obscure sexualities, do tarophilia. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. That one is the one about tentacles, the idea of tentacles running through your bodies. Look up tentacle toys on Amazon for a good time if you like toys of a kink nature that are insertable. And I think I'm right about this. Oh, it's the monsters one. I always get the two things. So this is Attraction to Monsters. By the way, I have a book about monsters, Classic Universal Monsters, on Kickstarter until November 1st. You guys can get all of my PDF works from the Barbara Unleashed and Monsters franchise for just $5. Go check it out. Go to Kickstarter.com and put in Monsters Trilogy. Back to what we're talking about. Yes, that is the idea of being attracted to monsters, vampires, Frankenstein, even the tentacles still work, Cthulhu. The Mummy, I don't know how popular that is, but we do have mummification. I'm just saying, I don't know if Mummy falls into that. But, you know, werewolves, crossover with furry, I'm sure is there. But the tentacle one, I can't remember. Bullwinkle! Thank you all. Thank God it's Bullwinkle and Rocky's nemesis. Or whatever the plural of that. And I think nemesis, I don't know. Myriad says, it has, especially since I was always told I'm pansexual, when in fact it changes my emotions do. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that knowing, say no, like someone opened up. Like when I recently was, in the last 5 years, studying ADHD because my son has ADHD and autism, it opened up so much awesomeness in my soul to know that some of the things that I'm going through weren't my fault. I wasn't being lazy. These are things they've discovered, and I'm not a bad person for it. For so long, I thought I was a bad person. I had trouble looking in a mirror. Knowing those things mattered so much. Rocky was the squirrel, says T loves lilacs. Bullwinkle. I can't believe I forgot that. God damn it. Valerie said, nope. Cindy said, thanks for all the education tonight. Good night, all. Good night, Cindy. And remember, you're a survivor of this planet for almost 60 years. And Nemesis. Okay, Nemesis. Thank you. We got some grammar lessons tonight. Trust me, I need them, being dyslexic and all. And that's a whole other story for another night. My battery just went down to 9. So I'm going to hop off. I appreciate you all tuning in. Let's stay connected by you following me, making more comments. I reply to every comment that is a good comment, basically, and not a trolling comment. So if you want to be responded to, or if you have a question you want me to answer in private, my office is always open. Just leave me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you all for hanging out with me this evening. Stay kinky, my friends, and I will see you all at our next Kinky Connection here on TikTok. Someone just said something, so I'm going to get it. Not a grammar lesson. I just get off on teaching men. I'm always willing to be taught. Good night, everybody, and stay. It helps if you take off the mute on your mic. Thank you, everyone who watched this video. We're going to try to give you more content like this. It won't always be live. We're going to try to bring you as much interesting variety when it comes to kink knowledge, when it comes to comic books and fandom. Expect a lot. What we're going to try to do going forward is use kind of markers that you'll see. Like right there, this was, you know, more of a kink one, but this was also our first one. So this is about the creations I create. If it's more about fandom, we might do a fandom thing. We want to know what you guys want. We want to bring you content. We want to build this channel. And one of the reasons we're doing all of this right now, in all honesty, is because we are trying to get to TED Talk. That's a goal right now. I want to I want to let me see if I can't sneak in here for you guys because I had this up. I want to bring awareness about the crossover from my brain and how I've seen the world, which was this weird moment in my life where comic books taught me how to read. I knew I was going to be kinky, and I was discovering how badly my neurodivergent brain at that point was affecting me because there were things that I was being blamed on just ADHD that weren't being seen. And I think there's a crossover and a big conversation between comics codes and ethics and all that. I really want to be able to get there. And to do that, I have to build up my social media presence. For the first time ever, I have a real reason to take this really serious and has nothing to do with money, but awareness for kink, people who suffer from ADHD. And trust me, there is very much suffering in it, but it is manageable. We don't talk about that enough. I don't want to talk about having a neurodivergent brain and being kinky. So I really do appreciate you guys showing up to the show. Thank you very much. Let me know what you guys think and keep hitting me for more. I should make an outro.